I got a huge mess to clean up today. Anyways, today with the 240, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it out of the garage since it's a super nice day outside. Pull it into this open lot. I already moved all the cars. And I'm going to start messing with the wiring. Start figuring out what's what, figure out what's unplugged, what's plugged in, what relays, what sensors I'm missing. I did end up getting new seat brackets. Oh, I got the Sparco seat here. I already got the new bracket kind of bolted onto this one. I don't have sliders on there, so I think I actually have to drill a hole to put one of the bolts through. And I got to figure out this harness loop since it's super close to the seat. We'll get that all figured out today. I ended up just buying like I think they were like Spec D or something, just some cheap, you know, generic seat rails because I didn't want to build any. I didn't really want to waste the time, and they were like 60 bucks. And for 60 bucks, I mean, just time alone, you couldn't beat that. My main goal, like I said, is get the car out of the shop, maybe start it, run it for a little bit because it hasn't ran for a while, and then kind of just clean up all this. I want to get rid of the old dash. Ooh, I want to get rid of that old dashboard. I want to get the new one in. But like I said, I probably won't put that one in for another week and a half or so because I do actually want to figure out all this wiring. As you guys remember from the last video, it's kind of all disassembled right now. Clean up all this mess, vacuum out the car, just clean it up a little bit and figure out where all those plugs go. And yeah, it's kind of, I don't understand how it got so dirty. It's pretty crazy. Yeah, well, that's what we're gonna get into right now, I guess. I mean, it's a beautiful day. I kind of want to go explore some trails out here because I guess there's a lot of trails. I don't know, the Jeep hasn't really got that much love. It's kind of been sitting there. But let's pull this car out. So I got the car out of the shop, or the garage now. Enough to where I can open up the doors but still be in the shade because the sun is like super hot and I really don't want to work out there. I'm gonna open this door completely. Probably open this window too. Yeah, kind of just, oh, oops. Boom. What I want to do today is actually, once I clean all this out, I'm gonna rewire the wideband and the boost gauge. I really want to wire that because we just have one ground right here running to all of it, and I don't think it's like sufficient. It's like an 18 gauge ground. I want to run a separate ground for each one of them. And then, oh yeah, these are like the sensor plugs. This is for the cluster. We can throw this over here. And what I'm going to do is, instead of ordering a new cluster, since I knew it worked at some point, I think the like time control box or the relay or whatever might have an issue to do with that. I don't know. I'm just going to replace all that stuff before I start replacing parts. And then if that doesn't fix, then I'll go from there. Because I don't want to, essentially, I don't want to make a mountain out of a little molehill, if that makes sense. This car has just been pretty stressful overall, but not bad enough to where I just want to get rid of it. The seat rails I was telling you about, let me show you these really quick. So here it is. It's like some Spec D, cheap, whatever, generic. You know, thin little 063 aluminum or steel. They have some, you know, decent welds on them, but there's a few areas where they're not welded on the inside. You can kind of see. I might throw some welds in there if they become an issue at all. These are definitely not something I'll run forever, but just for the meantime to have these. So let's see, put that bolt back there. Boom. Oh, damn. For cheap, like, seat rails, these actually don't fit that bad. All the holes match up, and no, these aren't terrible. These are not bad at all. Once they're bolted in, obviously, since I have that padding underneath the carpet sits up a little bit. So I'll throw those on with the seats. I'll do the same thing with that seat just because I have both of them and they sit a little bit lower. I do want to test fit this seat in there, but I'm just going to clean up. I'm going to start with cleaning this mess, so let's get into that. What I'm actually going to do, now that I kind of like looked at everything and thought about it and stuff, instead of just jumping into this right away, I need to go through everything I'm going to use and everything I'm not going to use and put the not going to use out here in the, just on the driveway for now. And stuff I'm going to use, I'm going to set it up right here where I can still back the car in. The reason I'm going to do that is, like, for me, if there's like a huge clutter, a huge mess, like my mind doesn't really work right. It's like, clean it, you know, constantly. I'll throw the stuff in the back of my truck and then sell it or just give it away for free. I have a bunch of like, you know, turbo piping, blow off valves, wheel spacers, intercoolers, top feed, fuel rails, just like a bunch of stuff that I probably won't ever use, and I just don't need to keep it because there's no reason to have a bunch of crap laying around. It's nice to have backup parts and it's nice to have stuff here and there, but when you have a very limited space, it doesn't really make sense. And if I need something, I could just order it or get another one. So that's what I'm gonna jump into right now. Okay, so I did a quick test fit inside the car just for the seat, just because I was a little too curious. And it sits way too far back, even on the furthest slider back. So I'm gonna have to drill holes and move the seat forward probably 3 inches at least. I mean, you can kind of just see where it's kind of off-centered. Other than that, I mean, it's kind of cool. Yeah, the seat feels a lot better than that like bucket that I had. It sits sideways for some reason. But yeah, so we'll just move it forward a little bit and then close the doors. It fits really nice in here and it feels good. It still keeps you in the seat. Better than a stock seat, no doubt. I just don't know how good I'm feeling it. I might end up, I don't know. I might get a different set and get like a 2 pair of seats, or see if I can get like some Sylvia seats or like a stock type of seats where it has sliders and stuff and they sit really low. I'm just not a huge fan of these aftermarket seats, but I don't know, we'll see. Looking good other than that. I mean, besides the dash being out of the car. We'll do some of this wiring through here, here in the next, I don't know, half hour or so. I don't know if I'm gonna mess with the seat that much. I really have this problem where I want to do too many things at once and I'm like, never get anything done. So I think I'm gonna finish the garage, cleaning it and stuff, pull the seat out, set it to the side, just try my hardest not to touch it, and just figure out this whole bundle of mess. So this is climate control. This is like nothing. I'll just throw this to the side for now. But this wiring right here, I'm gonna go through the whole thing. This is the stock harness, stock radio harness that the dude before me just chopped up. If you do this to your harness, where you just chop the stock harness instead of getting a, you know, $15 adapter, you are literally the worst type of person. This is ridiculous. I mean, this is an aftermarket stereo system. Look how many wires are unused. Look at this. You gotta be kidding me. This is where I'm gonna start. I'm gonna get a diagram online and I'm gonna go through it and I'm gonna fix every single wire. I'm assuming this will actually help some of my issues. Fix all of this, figure out what I don't need, figure out what I do need, and then just go through that. That is ghetto. If you do that, you're the worst type of person. You are not a car mechanic. You are a monkey. If you do that, you're a monkey. So I just cleaned up the garage a little bit. This is all stuff that I'm using for the car. That's why it's just sitting there. And obviously the dashboard. This is all cleared out. I sweeped out. Just kind of got everything figured out where it's going to be. Well, after working on the car for a little while, I just realized it's way too hot outside. So I ended up cleaning all of this and I turned the car around. Oh, at least you guys can like see a better view of the bumper and stuff now. Yeah, it looks sick. Oh, I can probably show you under the hood a little better now too. Sick. Anyways, I was sick and tired of like just sweating, getting water bottles and stuff. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna park the passenger side as close to that wall as possible. Just tuck the car. That way I can have right here at least a few feet of room. Open up the passenger door and just work through that side inside the garage. I thought I could do it in the heat. Nah, I'd rather just work in the comfort of AC. There's no reason not to. The lighting's not great in here, but I do have, you know, flashlights and I have this floodlight thingy. Helps a lot. And I do got some, you know, studio stage lights and stuff over there. But anyway, so let's pull the car in and then let's start working on that wiring. All right, got the car in the garage. I actually got a lot more room than I thought I would right here. This door, when I open it, I can actually open it all the way, still have some room. That'll be plenty of room to work in there. The other side is obviously not that great. Like, boom, boom. Actually, you can still work on it a little bit. That's not bad. Got a whole bunch of room back here that I can throw the extra parts so they don't get in the way. I mean, for a tiny, tiny, tiny garage, there's a lot of room for me to work on this car. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna pull the seat out, this driver's seat out, pull off the steering wheel, then I'm gonna drop the whole steering column, and just start going through the wiring. And I'll try and get more into it while I'm doing it. But like, do you see how this little wire is cut right here? It's gonna focus in on that. Boom. It's cut. This is for the window motor, or not for the window motor, the what do they call those? The light motor. Geez, the little flip up lights. I have them disconnected. I just, you know, twist them by hand. They have the adjuster. Like down here we got a few like disconnected plugs. Right here disconnected. Just like, not a lot, but you know, 7 or 8 unplugged plugs, and I don't know where they go. So I'm gonna like find out where they go, fix that. Hopefully that fixes the charge issue. If not, then I am gonna just buy a new alternator. I've checked all the wiring, I've checked everything. It's either the bulb relay or the alternator itself. So we're gonna jump into that today. I'm gonna close up the garage. I'm gonna go get some ice cream or something because it's super hot, and then we'll come back into it. So it's a little bit later. The sun is like basically down now. I was gonna work on the 240 and do like the wiring for the stereo, but actually I decided we're gonna change the timing belt on this car tonight. We're gonna do a timing belt, water pump, all that stuff to the Saab because it hasn't been done in a really long time. And yeah, the 240 can obviously wait since I gave that project 2 weeks. That'll be quick. Timing belt should be done in, I don't know, 5 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, I don't know, however long. I haven't done a Subaru timing belt in probably 2 years, but if I can remember correctly, which I think I do, they're super easy. So let's go to the store and get parts. Alright, so I just got all the parts. Got the oil and stuff back there. You can kind of see it in the timing belt kit. Got it all. It ended up costing like, I think it cost a total of like $350, but that's like oil change, timing belt, everything. And that's just like buying it from like a parts store. I didn't want to go to the dealer or whatever. I mean, this is Gates product, so it's still good stuff. So we're gonna head back, and really quick, I'm gonna stop by Harbor Break and pick up some rags or some gloves or something to keep my hands a little clean. Might not even stop, we'll see. So I just got back, got all the parts that we needed. I'll just give you a quick rundown. We got our oil right here. We just got some Max Life oil, some coolant, some distilled water. If you're gonna be mixing, you know, coolant concentrate, you need to mix it with distilled water. You can't be mixing it with anything else. Got a little bit of water gasket maker for like the water pump, timing belt tensioner, timing belt, bearings, all that good stuff. Spark plugs. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull the car forward to about right here, set some cardboard down, put the drip pan down, take out all the coolant, take out all the oil, get it all done, rip off that radiator. So it's a lot easier when you just pull the radiator out. And then I'm gonna rip off all the timing covers, all that stuff, and pull it all apart. Right now it is, oops, 8:59. So let's see how quick we can do this. Okay, so it's like, let's see, what time is it right now? 9:34. I've got all the covers off and everything, got the timing belt exposed. Gonna set it the timing, and I'm gonna pull the timing belt off, to take the water pump off, put the tensioner and stuff on. It's taking me longer than usual. I know it's like 30 minutes or whatever, but usually it only takes me 5-10 minutes to get to this point where it's like already at the timing belt. The biggest issue I ran into is I forgot about these freaking Subaru automatic transmissions. Have those, you can kind of see them right here, the cooler lines for the tranny. I forgot about those entirely. Let's see if I can get some light really quick. So they go right here and then pop out right there. Completely forgot about those, and I was fighting the transmission for a few minutes, and then kind of just went inside because I was a little frustrated and got a drink. And I remember they had the cooler lines, so I pulled those off. Now it's completely exposed, as you can see. Now I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set the timing to top dead center, obviously, pull off the tensioners, everything, pull off the old belt, put the new water pump on, reseal it, put the new tensioner on, put the new belt on, slap it all back together. Timing belt done. Realistically, this should only be, I mean, if you have no distractions and you have all the tools ready and you're just ready to go, no distractions, you should be able to change the timing belt in an hour and a half. I mean, that's realistically the longest it should take to do a Subaru timing belt. They are very easy, super easy to access. You pull off the crank pulley, that's usually one of the hardest things to take off. And then all the rest of like this other bolts, I mean, I think you got 10s and 12s. That's it. 10 and 12 millimeter bolts. That's it. And then obviously your hose clamps are going to be 5/8 or quarter or whatever size they are, or just use a, you know, a screwdriver. But yeah, so we got all this pulled apart right now. I'm going to take a little break. It is 9:37. I'll I'll probably jump back into it in like 15 minutes. I'll just relax for a little bit. It's super hot. It's like, I think it's like 80 degrees out still. I'm like sweating and it's all like humid and stuff, but whatever. We'll keep going at that. We'll get it done, and then who knows, maybe even do some wiring tonight, because this is going a lot quicker. I thought this was going to run me to like 1 a.m. because usually when I do the Subarus, I like run into a stuck bolt or something. Hopefully none of those get stuck. Okay, so I got like the new timing belt in, all the components and stuff. I ended up having to cut the old belt because I always hate like pulling off a pulley. It's kind of sketchy with it like being all tensioned. Here's all the old parts, and then the old water pump is right here in the trash. Got it all done. I just threw like the main cover, and then I have not touched anything else on the belts. I was gonna start the car really quick and make sure I got the timing correct. I mean, I obviously got the timing correct. I just like to hear the car before I put it all back together. I locked the keys in the ignition. I like went to start it, but then like had to check something really quick. I'm very upset with myself. All right, so I just finished the car. I don't know if you can hear it running out there. I made a pretty big mess in the garage, but I just finished the timing belt and all that other stuff. I'm gonna go to the car wash and pressure wash the engine because I did get coolant all over it, and I got some transmission fluid because I did start the engine as soon as I finished the belt, just so I can like hear it and run and make sure that the timing was on, and it was all good. But one of those tranny cooler lines kind of spewed oil everywhere, so I'm gonna go wash that off. And after that, I'm gonna call it a night.